Well, I guess I'm Patrick.
This is Will.
And I'm Chris, and we are Guys with Issues. And today we're not talking about a comic book story arc. I guess in a way we kind of are, a really big one.
But we still have issues.
But we have issues. We're going to actually talk about a little video that we watched. But before that, Patrick.
Yeah, what's up?
You have something to talk about.
Right. So if there's anybody who doesn't know, we have a solar eclipse coming up.
Yeah.
That is going to end up real close to where the three of us live.
Yep.
It's not
probably one of the closest ones that we'd ever have around here, or have had.
Have had in a very long time.
Yeah, long time.
I don't know the time frames, but
I want to say it's been like
time.
25 or 30 years or something since it's been that close, right?
Probably, maybe even more than that.
I was thinking that when I was a fairly young lad, we had a pretty decent one.
I think this one's going to be better, even closer.
Wow. That's pretty fancy.
It's finally our turn.
It's our turn to be
Right.
in the center of the eclipse.
So I'm going to go with some family members of mine, and we're going to make sure we go into totality. Because
Not
I heard
teetotaling.
right.
Teetotaling.
Because I heard it's amazing.
Totaler.
So that'll be a lot of fun. That's on April 8th.
Yeah, so set your clocks. My daughter's getting out of school early. They're
think
dismissing them early.
I think a lot of schools have either closed or are doing
I think that they should host an event.
Right.
Like, why would... Come on, it's educational.
I think it's...
Make it something cool.
Go on a field trip.
Well, I think
Yeah.
around here, I think it's going to happen around the time that schools get out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everybody about the cool thing that happened to you, what was it, last week? When I was with you and your messages started going off? When was that? That was at lunch
What are
last
you
week.
talking about?
Last Thursday.
You're going to have to remind me. I've slept since then.
Well, see, you said that you're going to totality.
Totality.
But you haven't said the random string of events that have tied you into being able to have a cool spot there.
Oh, that's actually not happening.
What?
Yeah, because
What happened?
it's immediate family only. And technically, I'm not immediate family with my brother.
Oh, so he's going.
No, he's going to go with us.
Well,
He's like, I see those people all the time.
but it's a catered work event.
I know, right?
Dude, his brother's work is providing transportation, a location, catered food, like this whole shebang.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know, it's cool.
Because somebody that works there owns property that's
in totality.
Yeah.
So they're just going to...
and they're like, they open it up like for the workplace.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is super cool.
I forgot about it because it's not happening for me, I guess.
You never told me that it wasn't happening.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's a bummer.
No. I
Well,
blame Will.
So do you
Everybody
guys
usually
have
does.
a different location? I
Yeah,
mean,
I-
it'll be the same location, but a different spot.
I think we're going to find a park somewhere that's south of Fort Wayne.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Hey, you won't be that far from your sandwich shop. Are you going to get a sandwich?
I'm going to certainly try.
Dude, you might as well double up.
So get 2 sandwiches? Deal.
Wow.
I told you.
You got 2 last time. That's a good idea.
I know.
Just bring one back.
Do the same thing.
Eat one, eat half, whatever. Bring them.
So good.
You know how it goes. Sandwiches. Hey, we're back to sandwiches.
I already said it.
He did.
I'm like, yeah, I told you so.
It only got brought up because of his location.
No. Yeah, I told you it was going to come back to sandwiches.
It always
before
comes back to
before it
sandwiches.
officially started, there is audio evidence. We usually do, but winging it ends up in sandwiches. So
Audio evidence.
That if we don't plan, Will says it always ends up to sandwiches. But
I mean, sandwiches are delicious.
we're
yeah.
now don't start that again.
I won't. I promise.
Oh,
are you sandwich blocking us right now?
Unless we have sandwiches to eat right now, we're not talking about them.
No.
So that's all I wanted to talk about. Make sure people know.
April 8th.
Anybody who's listening can try to plan around it if they live in this area.
Yes.
You
Try
can-
to be eclipsed.
You
I
can-
should take a part day off of work or something.
You can easily go online and
Find out where
find
you
out
need
where
to be.
it's going and get to your closest spot.
And your closest friends. Because there's nothing like sharing an eclipse with your closest friends.
Right.
Yeah. That's cool.
It is cool.
Anything interesting with you, Will? You're healed?
Oh,
You're
yeah,
still
mostly.
mending?
Mostly.
You're not drinking beer again tonight? Something's...
It's just. I don't know. There was a lot of yakking. And for whatever reason, the idea of drinking has just been like,
That's okay.
I might try it again here soon.
Will,
just to-
we
just
would
to
never
see.
pressure you to drink. You
No.
could give it up entirely, and that would be fine.
Yes.
It'd probably be better for me.
It probably would, to be honest.
You're like, it might not be a bad idea.
That's
to
not a bad idea.
maybe just leave it.
To be fair, it isn't like... Now, this is going to sound worse than what it's meant to, but you weren't drinking as much as you had for a
No.
time. So, I mean, it isn't... I mean, we don't want to make it sound like you had a problem.
I've never had a problem.
He just has issues.
I just have issues.
Yeah. With drinking. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I couldn't help it.
Is this an intervention?
I was just going to
No.
say that.
Nope. I like that it would be an intervention for drinking, and Patrick just took a drink of a beer. Listen, we think you have a problem.
Look, you didn't have to tell everybody that.
Hey,
That
the only time you ever drink beer is on this podcast, pretty much.
Pretty much. I can't say that's
to be
the
fair,
only
you
time.
went on that work trip, and we know that there's always at least a few drinks on a work trip.
Right.
That's just
When we've gone
when
out,
it's on that company.
when we've
Somebody
gone
else is
out,
buying.
he's gotten beers at
A few times, but not every
bars
time.
and stuff.
He's gotten water a lot of times too. But no, it's none of us really are what I would consider regular drinkers.
No.
Like it's just kind of when it takes us.
Right.
So, which is fine. But when you like beer, you just need one sometimes. Oh, you'd like one. I don't know.
So-
According to Patrick, that wouldn't be a need.
It's not.
No,
You
I
don't
have
know.
I have been trying to finish that last book in Traveler's Gate. But like it's weird.
Oh, you said it
Because-
changed.
It changed and like it's
Is it-
it's weird that you don't really know who the bad guy is.
Is the gate
Like-
just stationary now?
yeah.
It went from a traveler's gate to a stationary gate. And
Right.
the book
I mean-
just totally changed.
Totally changed. And now
did.
everybody
The momentum stopped.
Yes. And it's just like there are people who have done bad things, but there's nobody that is like blatantly outright like the antagonist.
That's weird.
Like
Maybe
there
you're
are.
the antagonist.
Oh my gosh, I
It's
probably
the
am.
reader. They're like, you turn that page, something bad's gonna happen.
It's the disruptor.
Dun dun dun.
But so it's a challenge to finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got like 4 or 5 hours left. But like I haven't been able to listen at work because I've been doing stuff that doesn't really lend itself to, you
You gotta
Same.
pay
Yeah,
really
I gotta-
close attention.
I've been having to actually pay attention to stuff.
I get that.
So yeah, that's
That's where you're at.
where I'm at.
It's the thing that happened.
Boom.
Chakalaka.
Yeah.
Boom shakalaka.
No, I did get a message on my way over here to Patrick's house that having dinner with some friends tomorrow night.
Oh, that's
That's
fun.
the only thing that's happened.
Why don't you have dinner with us anymore?
Oh, that is true.
Or breakfast, for that matter.
Or sandwiches.
Or sandwiches, for that matter.
Jeez.
You drive to Roanoke, Virginia.
I'm sure they've got a sandwich shop.
I'm sure they do. It's probably delicious.
Anyway,
Should we
So-
look it up?
No.
He's like, I'm gonna search this best sandwich shop in Roanoke,
All right, Chris.
Virginia.
What about you? Anything going on?
No,
All right.
not. I've read. What did I read? Books. I've been
You read
reading
books.
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah. Sense and Sensibility wasn't as good as Pride and Prejudice.
Right. You told me that.
But
you didn't tell the listener.
I started an interesting series called the Something of the Merrimack. I wanted to say the Myriad of the Merrimack. That's not it. You could hear it. Couldn't
Yeah,
you?
you could.
Shoot. The book is called The Myriad,
There you go.
but it's part of a series called Tour of the Merrimack.
There you go.
So the Merrimack is the like capital ship. It's a space military kind of thing. It's pretty
Sweet.
good so far.
So Larry would like it.
I could see him enjoying it. Oh
There you
yeah.
go. Sweet.
But yeah, supposedly it's kind of got vibes from a few different things, and I thought I'd check it out. It was recommended on the Discord I'm on when we were talking about books. So I was trying that out, and I've been watching something. I don't do that very often. Not really.
No, you don't.
I'm still going. I'm watching Gundam,
Right.
the 1979 original Mobile Suit Gundam anime,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not a big anime watcher, contrary to the rest of the people in the podcast. I'm the outlier, and I'm genuinely enjoying this. I would say quite immensely. It's a lot. And there are times where my jaw hangs open, and I can't believe that they actually do something that they do. And it's a really good look at civilians being forced into being soldiers out of necessity, and PTSD, and like anime trope, super talented teenager, but has like severe trauma from things that he's doing to survive and stuff. It's interesting. It's probably one of the most layered and interesting animes, not even anime, but just like stories in general, that I've ever seen done the way that it's done.
In
So-
anime form.
As a piece on wartime and science fiction and giant robots. So it's really impressive. And it's just a really, really well done. And for being as old as it is, I would say the animation still holds up fairly well. I mean, you can tell that it's from an older era, but I don't think it's one where the animation quality hinders the watchability, the viewability now.
No,
But
that is one thing about.
I'm almost halfway through the series.
Nice. That is
Yeah.
one thing about older, particularly like older anime shows,
Yeah.
is that they are not afraid to go into like slightly more, traumatic things.
Mhm.
Because that one I was telling you about, Evangelion,
Yeah. Yeah, that one's from like the 80s maybe?
yeah, like late 70s, early 80s.
Okay. So probably
Maybe even the 90s. I can't remember. But like that also goes into like abandonment issues, trauma, and like how it's, portrayed in like kind of like the art and the music. Like they do a very good job creating like this or like ambiance
yeah.
of how things are supposed to be. Is very philosophical on like what is life, what does it mean to be alive.
Dude, if you enjoy that, you should try Gundam.
Yeah, I've always like there's a obviously a big huge nerd debate online as to which one was the better.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
Because they-
this is probably the original. They
Oh,
probably
yeah.
like I think they showed what they could do with something like that.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to kind of mirror certain World War II aspects,
Mm-hmm.
is what I believe it kind of, the ideology out of it was kind of centered around.
Well, if you think like the young adults who were writing that and animating it, their parents
Yeah.
would have
had
been
lived
through.
Yeah.
So they had been raised by people who were traumatized by having, been bombed
Oh yeah.
severely.
And sometimes like the enemy soldiers are shown to be very human. They're not always like villainized. It's just like sometimes, and there's always a lot of respect for like the skill of different pilots and things. It's just it's really. I bet you would enjoy it.
Probably.
I bet you would. I love it. It's becoming one of my favorite shows I have ever watched.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's all because I started building models and I thought, I'm going to try watching it.
That's great.
I like the models first.
Right. To be fair, you like giant robots first.
I like giant robots. And I've always thought the Gundam designs were cool.
Right.
At least the more simple, some of them get to be where I'm like, no, that's too much. But yeah, the simpler ones I think can look really cool. They're really just big samurai robots with like laser guns.
They are.
And laser swords. They have beam
Right.
swords too. And whips sometimes and bazookas and yeah.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
anyway. Yeah. Yeah. I thought about sharing about that because if anybody who listens has ever tried anime or likes that kind of sci-fi militaristic stuff, you should definitely give it a go. Definitely. It's very, very, very well done. So today we're just going to chat briefly. I strapped these two down and forced them to watch something.
Taped our eyelids
I
open.
almost said that.
I said it for you.
It's because he had to let them know. He had to let them know what he went through.
Right.
So
The trauma.
For many of you listeners, you're probably familiar with the fact that Ryan Reynolds made a Green Lantern movie back in like 2011 or something, and people hated it. They think it sucks, and it kind of does.
It
To be
does.
fair, there are movies that have been made recently that suck just as bad or worse. So no lessons learned there, I guess. But there are aspects of the Green Lantern movie that are worth watching. If you've never seen it, and you can kind of sit back and just take it in for what it is. And you should watch the extended version because it adds some layer to the main character that really fleshes out the movie a little bit better. The movie feels better with those extra 10 or 15 minutes. Nothing substantial changes, and there's still a giant poop cloud as a villain, which is the problem. That's a big problem.
Poop clouds usually are a problem.
There's not a giant sentient evil planet devouring poop cloud in the comic books. And I feel like they were just afraid to make it like a giant alien parasite bug.
Would have been so much better.
Yeah, I think it probably would have.
Yeah.
Probably.
But anyway, Mark Strong as Sinestro in it is by far one of the best casting choices and acting things. And like in the whole movie, absolutely one of the highlights. I cannot imagine them making a new one and having a better Sinestro. Just isn't going to happen.
Sure.
They might have a good Sinestro. Not going to be better. Mark Strong was literally perfect in that role. Perfect. Did it amazingly well. But anyway, the movie might suck to most people. It's really average. I don't even think it sucks. I think it's average. It's just, it's okay. Some of it sucks. Like the poop cloud.
Some of it really stinks too.
Like the poop cloud.
Right.
But on the Blu-ray, this used to be on YouTube. Maybe if we do the title, what is it? The Universe According to Hal Jordan or something? What was it?
Remember,
The
but
Universe
something
by
like
Green
that.
Lantern.
That might be it.
Will's checking to see if it's on YouTube. But I tried to look up the history of Green Lantern special feature before, couldn't find it. Amazon and all these companies, like you can't buy the extended version, which comes with those options on Amazon anymore, or it doesn't come with the options, the special features. And so I've been wanting these two guys here to watch this because when I watched Green Lantern, I thought, that movie was okay. And then I watched this 20-minute special feature that's basically about the history of Green Lantern in DC Comics universe. And it was the reason I wanted to read Green Lantern. I watched that 20-minute feature and I went, oh, this seems really cool. I love sci-fi. This sounds awesome. And
Breaking news, it is on YouTube. It is called The Universe According to Green Lantern.
Hey.
there you go.
And
So
the channel is called The Green of the Lantern.
So, pause the podcast. Go
watch
that
that
for 20
20-minute
minutes.
thing. Yep.
Come back.
And then you'll know what we're talking about. Because what happened was I found my Blu-ray that I paid I think I paid like $5 or less for, by the way, when I got it.
Nice.
And I bought it for the special feature. And these guys watched it because we're going to start reading the epic that is the Green Lantern Jeff Johns run, the space opera that it is. And so that special feature gives you just enough background that I think it helps be able to enjoy it and follow it a little bit more. Like I said, it's what I watched. They got me into it. And then I mean, there's so much that goes into it, and you just kind of learn as you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just like we have been with a lot of this stuff. But what did you guys think as far as the special feature went? Like, what kind of thoughts and feelings do you have about it?
Well,
I mean, I thought it was interesting. I liked their ideas that they
it was him, not me.
that was me. That they put out with the different cores and all that.
The
stuff.
spectrum?
Yeah, the spectrum.
Yeah, that comes a bit later.
I liked how they really seemed to get to the core of Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah. Good job, Pat.
Wow.
Good job.
Thanks. I appreciate that. So I'm looking forward to reading the story now that I've watched that
Yes.
20-minute.
And I think a big thing about watching stuff like that is when you see people who are super passionate and they are, they get excited about talking about it, it sort of kind of piques your interest more.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, if these guys are that crazy about it and they're saying, they've got all this huge like mythos about it and it's got a huge following, then maybe it is good. Maybe we'll give it a try. And
Yeah, all those guys that talk about it in the video are people that either drew or wrote for the thing that we're reading. So
they made
almost
money
all of
on
them.
Right.
Well, I mean, they were the creator. I mean,
Yeah.
it had come out. I think Rebirth came out in like 2006 or something. But it's really, yeah. Jeff Johns had made a name for himself on a few things. He did the Teen Titans run that everybody really likes, that the TV show kind of modeled itself after.
I think we've read some stuff from Jeff Johns.
Yeah, the Aquaman was Jeff Johns.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and you guys really enjoyed the vibe of that, and Green Lantern is actually what he did way before that, years and years and years.
Cool.
So, if you like that kind of style, you'll feel his writing style in that. But yeah,
That's
do you have
exciting.
any? I don't know. There's not a lot to talk
There's
about.
not a lot to talk about.
But so, what's something that you're kind of like hoping to get out of it? Is there anything,
I mean, I really want some good space cop stories.
dude?
That is true.
That's
Also
what I want.
Some no poop clouds.
Right. No time traveling stuff. Just space cop stories.
You will get a lot of buddy cop
Nice.
stuff. Nice, yeah. And you'll get plenty more Guy Gardner. Will
Oh, good.
snarky guy Gardner. It'll be interesting to hear, and Jon Stewart's in it too. Eventually, the series, when it hits the new 52, goes from being 2 comic series, title series, to 4. There's 4 comic titles that it goes into, but it only runs 20 issues per title at that point.
Okie dokie.
Which sounds like a lot because you're like, wow, that's still 80 comics. But Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps both ran in the 60s, like 60-something comic range. Plus, they had a whole bunch of tie-ins for the events, which we will read some of those tie-ins for sure, especially Blackest Night. Blackest Night has a lot of fun tie-ins. So, I got to tell you something.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I read this whole thing one time.
Mm-hmm.
I have never gone back and reread like the entire saga ever.
Sure.
I've read parts of it again, like little bits and pieces, but I've never reread it. So reading it together, is going to be like a whole fresh kind of like, it's been years since I read this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited because I feel like I'm going to be like, I totally forgot about this, or, that was one of my favorite. Like, that's cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, I'm
That's
excited
great.
to share it with you.
Coolio.
But what about you? You have
Huh.
anything you want out of this? What are you hoping for?
Just a good time.
Just
You know,
some simple man.
fun with my friends.
Fun with friends.
Reading comics. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we always have that, right?
Mm.
Fun with friends, reading comics.
I mean, unless it's Azrael.
Get him out of here.
Wow, you had to open that wound.
Oh, I
didn't ya?
did.
I mean, okay, to be fair, we always have fun with friends, but we don't always have fun reading the comics.
That's fair. That is fair.
I'm not going to say that you're going to score every story arc in this a 5. I won't say that. But
You don't know me.
I do think that there are going to be a solid handful of story arcs in this that you're going to score it pretty well, I think.
Nice.
I'm going to make the prediction now. You're kind of a wild card with this. I could see you really
yeah.
digging it. But see, like, Pat is like me. He loves him that sci-fi.
I do.
And this is very, like, it's kind of magic-y a little bit because you have, like, but the rings, technically, there's soft science behind how it all works.
I will just deal with it.
Soft science, okay? I mean, you can read The Captain. You can enjoy this.
I'll deal with it.
If you can read about a machine that can fabricate anything on a spaceship.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't say it would be hard for me to deal with
No.
it. I just said I would.
But yeah, like, I feel like Pat's vibe with this will probably be more akin to the way I was. But, like, sometimes things that
We'll have to.
you've given the idea that you're going to enjoy, and then you end up not.
Mm-hmm.
And or something where it's like, I don't know if he'll like this, and you've ended up really liking it. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think that you'll enjoy this too. The thing is, we've talked about this before. When artwork is good and when writing is good, it's a good comic, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so for this to basically be like the quintessential, like, this is the run that people are like, oh no, if you're going to read Green Lantern, just read this epic. Because it basically, if we read it to the end, it has technically a finite ending. This can be one thing. But then, they change that, and the comics come after
of
it
course.
because they have to.
Anywho.
But next week we will be reading Rebirth, and last week I misspoke. I said that it was 12 issues, and it's only 6 is what I think it ended up being.
Yeah, that's what you said.
I think because I checked this week, and I believe it's 6 issues. And so we'll read the whole shebang. It's just a single arc kind of book.
Whole shebang.
And for those of you, if you read on the DC Comic app, if you type in Green Lantern Rebirth, it should be there. It should say like 1 through 6. I looked it up on that to make sure. But I don't know what else it's on. It might be on other stuff, but I do not know.
There you go.
Yeah. And if you're willing to, if you think Green Lantern's going to be something you enjoy, hit up your local comic shop, especially if you're in the Warsaw area. Just buy Rebirth.
Right. I was thinking about doing that.
I could see this being a series that you might want to own.
Yeah. I think that's about. We want to cover anything else?
For real, watch that feature. If you listen to us, even if you're not going to read along, go take the 20 minutes and watch that special feature.
In 12 seconds.
Yes.
It cut the credits.
And also,
there weren't any credits.
in all seriousness, if you know anybody you think might like this podcast, please recommend it to them.
Yeah, we never say that, do we?
No, we don't.
Yeah, spread the word, man. Like, or, why not?
Yeah.
Even people that you think might not like it, but might suffer through listening.
Right.
They just hate listen. Go ahead.
Yeah, please listen to this podcast.
Just don't leave reviews.
Unless they're 5-star and you just say you hate listening to it.
I hate it, but I come back every week. It's my
This-
favorite hate
This is
listen.
the podcast I love to hate.
Yeah. These guys, the banter sucks. Cut it out.
That got weird.
Well, let's get weird.
All right. Well, I guess that means I'm Patrick.
And this is Will.
And I'm Chris, and we are Guys with Issues. Issues.
Dum, dum.
You can catch Guys with Issues anywhere you can find your favorite podcasts.
Or check out our website at guyswithissues.com, where you can listen, find reading lists to follow along, and get to know us better.
Send us emails to longbox@guyswithissues.com and tell us your thoughts or send us suggestions on what we should read next. We would love to hear from our listener. This is a warning. What you are about to hear may be offensive. Listener discretion is advised.
I just thought because it's only if it goes down to just two people, it's kind of a different dynamic.
Yeah, it'll be just
three
the
people.
two of us.
Yeah, it'll be shorter. It won't take as long, which Chris already thinks that it's too long.
Sometimes.
Our average length is too long for him. That's what he said. Wow.